appreciate you being here. We have a lot of ideas through working with various clients in the travel industry that we think you may benefit from as well. There's a huge amount of opportunity out there right now, especially if you are able to use current data and trends, get them on your side. You really can do quite a lot with the way people are wanting to get back out there and really experience travel again. So without further ado, let's get started. You're already all muted and cameras are off. If you have any questions, definitely jot them down. We'll have time to go over them at the end. And if you think of something after the fact, feel free to email me. My email address will be on the last slide as well. So you can send me any questions that you have, reach out anytime. So what exactly is revenge travel? In essence, it's the traveler's way of getting back at the pandemic, which stopped time and kept so many of us from enjoying life the way that we were used to or that we wanted to. COVID kept a lot of people from having their honeymoon, their dream trip, a retirement vacation, so on and so on. So for 1,000 reasons, adjusting to a new way of life from 2019 to the present, it's really been a slow burning trauma for all of us. So as we all come back out of the tunnel and sort of leave the lockdown fatigue behind, we're feeling a mixture of emotions. We're sad, we're angry, we're nostalgic, and we're really more ready than ever to get back out there. A lot of people who've stayed home for the past few years have saved that money that they would have spent on vacations, and they have it now. They're sick and tired of being home. They're ready to spend, they're ready to splurge. Obviously, we really can't make up for lost time, but that doesn't stop a lot of people from trying. So the idea with revenge travel is to really jump headfirst into the experiences you feel you missed out on over the last few years. This is really powerful, more powerful than you might realize. Trends are actually showing that more people are traveling during the summer and fall of 2022 than usually would be the case during the summer. We're not quite back up to pre-pandemic levels, but we are getting there at a faster pace. And that seems to suggest to experts who collect these metrics that things are going to really explode, especially next year. Obviously, revenge travel is a bit of a buzzword. You might wonder, is this a real thing? I can't speak for everyone, but I can say, for my family, revenge travel has happened in a big way. My husband and I both work from home. We have a little one who's not yet in school. So it's been the three of us home all day, every day since March of 2019. It's really been wonderful in a lot of ways. We've had a lot of bonding time, time to renovate our house, time to work on the business, time to watch our daughter grow up. But there were a lot of stressful moments too. I'm sure everyone can identify with that. Really claustrophobic times when all we wanted was to get out of the house, have space from each other, see something other than our own four walls. We took a socially distanced vacation as soon as it was safe. We booked an Airbnb and headed to the beach, just like a lot of people did. And then once COVID case counts started to fall and we were all vaccinated, we booked 2 vacations, 1 month apart, which is a little bit much and probably could have been planned a little better, but there was just so much we wanted to experience and show our daughter, and there still is. And we do have that sense that we need to make up for lost time and get back out there, but of course in a safe way. But we definitely feel the pull to do more, spend more, experience more to compensate for what we feel that we missed. And the data says that we're not alone. Travelers are spending in a huge way right now. So spending on activities and souvenirs is up 34%. Travel spending surpassed 2019 levels for the 3rd consecutive month and hit a new pandemic high in June. Rooms booked in June are almost back up to those pre-2019 levels. And in several countries that were studied, 70% of leisure travelers said that they're going to spend more in 2022 than they have in the past 5 years. So thanks to all that time stuck at home, we've all had a lot of time to think about what we want in our ideal travel experience. And that's really what makes revenge travel an exciting topic to discuss, because people aren't delaying their bucket list destinations until some far off date in the future. They're acting on those right now. So according to MarketWatch, even with inflation, which, of course, is making the cost of living more expensive, travelers are not skimping on their vacation. Pace of bookings is skyrocketing, and this is just a really good time if you're in the travel industry to catch people when they are dreaming about the next big thing, particularly with luxury travel. this is a really good opportunity. So according to Expedia, 2022, they're calling it the year of the goat, greatest of all trips. So they're finding the majority of travelers are planning to spend more on luxury vacations this year. This is true in France, Germany, Singapore, and India as well, in addition to the United States, according to their research. And businesses are also looking forward to have their employees get back out on the road. So 86% of businesses are planning to send their folks out for at least one business trip this year. And as we know, a lot of times business travelers do book some of those higher end hotels, depending on who they're meeting with and where they're traveling. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that travelers who are getting back out there are just returning to their old favorites. A lot of people are trying new destinations that are really similar to where they've always liked to go, but that are a little bit quieter. So for instance, Maui instead of Honolulu, Nantucket instead of Cape Cod. It's not necessarily a cost savings method as much as we've gotten used to things being a little bit quieter. Maybe we're still a little bit, concerned about COVID or monkeypox or whatever the next big pandemic is going to be. So we just want a little bit of space. We're willing to splurge a bit if it means we can have a really nice experience. Things are looking really good for European travel as well. American travel to Europe is up 600% over what it was last summer, which sounds really good. Of course, last summer there was still more concerns about COVID than there are right now. So that makes a little bit of sense. But people are heading in huge numbers to Italy, Greece, Spain, Iceland, Scotland, and England. And this makes sense if we think about it for a lot of Americans, particularly those who are used to drive market vacations and cruises. These European destinations are bucket list places that they've been dreaming about their whole lives. We're also seeing a big spike with adventure and experiential travel. So people who prefer something a little bit more active or who are looking to really have like an authentic cultural experience. Searches and bookings for like high adrenaline and authentic vacations are on the rise. So much time away from everything has led us to really want to connect with nature. And of course, something a little more real, getting to know people of other cultures, really experiencing life in a way that we're not accustomed to. That's very popular right now. Family travel, that's a big thing as well. It's not just solo and couple experiences. So a lot of people are booking multi-generational trips and vacations for themselves and their children. So in 2022, people are more likely to spend on epic vacations for the whole family. So whether that might be a long trip to Disney World at a deluxe resort instead of staying at All-Star Movies or All-Star Sports, trekking with the kids to Europe or Asia. These are families who maybe usually pick a beach trip or an amusement park, but now they're splurging on something large and memorable so that they can expose their kids to culture, nature, the world around them. Maybe they're taking their parents with them. Maybe they weren't able to see much of their family over the last few years, so they're having a big reunion. And we also have to consider for a lot of young children, these vacations may be their first ever big trip or the only one they actually remember. Like a 6-year-old today was really just getting into the age of being able to remember a vacation when COVID hit. So big destinations for families this year: Reykjavik, Paris, Alaska. Iceland is a big deal. It was a big deal before the pandemic as well. But there's actually a lot of family activities there. A lot of families are heading there this year. Not too hot, not too cold. If you go from mid-May until mid-August. In the summertime, it's great. You have lots of sunshine. If you're headed there, Blue Lagoon is a must-see. The geothermal water, stunning landscape, fresh air. There's a lot to offer a family, especially a family who, really likes to get outdoors. Kids really love the ice caves as well. Paris, obviously a classic, great adventure for families. There's always something to do. You can, take your kids to the Louvre. They have skipped the line tickets now if you're traveling with children, which is really great. Versailles, of course, a must see. And then there's, your typical touristy things like the Eiffel Tower, but you can, if you have young children, experience those with hop on, hop off bus tours. So you get a bit of a rest and keep things moving. And then Alaska, of course, you can get there via cruise. A cruise is a great way to explore Alaska with children because you have water parks, 24-hour soft serve ice cream machines, laser tag, all that kind of thing. And then you just have the absolute beauty of this place, which for a lot of us is unlike anything we've ever seen before. So these are very popular destinations for families with children right now. And, they're a little bit more off the beaten path. They're expensive compared to what a lot of families are used to, but these things are being booked at unprecedented rates right now, just because everybody's ready to get back out there. So in a nutshell, what travelers want right now, they want a really luxurious experience. They may have some money saved up and they're ready to splurge. They really want to relax. They want that once in a lifetime feel because they just want to feel normal again, whatever that may mean. So as a travel industry provider, how can we harness that energy? Obviously we're a marketing agency, so we do have a bias, but investing in your online presence is the best thing that you can do. If people can't find you, simply put, you don't exist. Obviously with COVID and monkeypox and all of that sort of thing, people are a little apprehensive in some cases about traveling, but you can allay those concerns if you showcase your safety protocols. If you show them, I'm on top of this, I've got it handled, you can just show up and relax. They're probably going to book with you. It makes you seem like an expert. Stay top of mind. Once they find you online, you need to get them, in your email list. Share things on social that are branded that people will continue to engage with. Keep them from the moment that they find you until they're ready to book. And then overall, just curate an experience. Let them know what it's going to be like when they stay with you so that they can start daydreaming about it long before they actually travel. So how do we do this, practically speaking? So SEO, search engine optimization, plus website content equals bookings. This one's really close to our heart because it's at the core of what we do. So think of SEO as a map. If you're not on the map, no one is going to be able to find you. Your website may be gorgeous. You can have the best blogs or email newsletter in the world, but if no one can find it, you're not going to get very many bookings. So telling a story to potential customers through your site content, whether that be on-page text, a blog, videos, that's key. Using the right SEO keywords so Google can find that content and rank you on page one, that's absolutely essential. You'll want to pair your content strategy with your SEO strategy. That's probably the most important thing you can do when it comes to your marketing efforts in 2022. So you want to point all traffic that's relevant to your business right to your website. So say you own a boutique hotel in Tuscany, your website needs to rank for the keywords boutique hotel Tuscany. If you run a travel agency for Caribbean cruises, your website needs to show up in Google when someone types best Caribbean cruises. Showing up first, or at least one of those first few results on page one, makes travelers think you're legitimate because we all trust Google inherently, whether that's good or bad. So, once you get people on page with those great keywords, you get them to your site, keep them there with engaging content. We all do it. You get on a website and you just go down the rabbit hole, reading articles, watching videos. You really get wrapped up in what they are offering. So do that. You can use content pillars where you have an article that speaks to a very broad topic, and then off of that article have many other articles and videos that people can click on that are, related topics, and just sort of keep them down various funnels so that they can book various adventures with you. You get them dreaming about the whole experience that way. And then that's really how you can get them to pull out their credit card. Of course, social media, also critical. You want to make yourself accessible to customers via your social media presence, interact with them there if you can. That's another great gateway to getting them booking on your site. The more you share, the more you'll get audience members, and also the more you'll get people engaging. But if you can really showcase what they can expect to experience with you, that's critical. So great high quality photos and videos are essential here. The $1 million question, of course, with social, which platforms are the best to market what you're offering? Generally speaking, you can capture attention on all social media platforms, but the key is consistency and being sure that you're using the right platforms for your target market. So it depends a little bit on what exactly it is that you're selling. But you perhaps, if you're targeting Gen Z, you might want to have an active presence on TikTok. Instagram is always great for travel brands, but you definitely want to be there if you're targeting millennials. that sort of thing. It's good to have a presence on all platforms, but we always say, you want to do a couple things really well rather than spread yourself too thin. There's a lot of social media platforms out there, and it's better to have really high quality content and high engagement on a few of those rather than try to do too much. It's important to know how travelers like their vacations presented on social media. So a survey found travelers were actually 37% more likely to book a trip if they see ads on social media that use video. This makes sense. Gone are the days where you can just have nice pictures, because video marketing is really the ideal way to showcase, stunning coral reefs, jungles, like beautiful waves moving alongside a cruise ship. Video allows the travelers the chance to really immerse themselves in the experience of traveling. And so that's something, you don't have to do all videos, but it's definitely something to think about. If you're working on Instagram, Reels are of course a big thing now. You want to be consistent as well with your content. So if you're a luxury brand, you should never be talking about discounts or coupons. If you cater to families, you really want to be careful with showing photos of like couples drinking champagne, because it can turn off your target market. So that's something to think about. Now, social media is not what it appears. We all know that. I would always encourage brands to be as authentic as possible. Avoid editing whenever you can when it comes to photos or videos. Keep it as close to what a traveler is actually going to experience. But it's important to consider that travelers who visit you or who use your services are probably going to post to social media, and they may use filters and they may edit things because they want all of their family and friends to think, wow, look at this great experience that John is having on his cruise. People take friends and family at their word on social media, 86% of people. So if someone is sharing content from your resort or your villa or your restaurant and it looks amazing, someone's going to say, okay, well, that's John. I know him. That's a legitimate photo. That's the experience I can have if I go to that destination. It's the same for recommendations from family and friends. It's hugely impactful when it comes to where people book a vacation. So you want to create a luxurious experience for your guests. Give them opportunities for gorgeous photo ops, because they really will take care of the rest. If you have a lodging option for travelers, whether it be an Airbnb or a hotel, make your gardens beautiful. People will stop and take a photo. And then that's basically free advertising for you. So that's another way to use social media to your advantage. If you have a hashtag that accompanies your brand as well, encourage travelers to use it. That's another great way to get visits on your social media pages. Don't forget about safety. If you want to build trust and grab the attention of prospective travelers, just be upfront. Tell them about your upgraded safety protocols and policies. Chances are good if you provide them with this information, it's going to do a few things. It's going to ease their mind about traveling, and it's also going to make them feel confident that you know what you're doing. You're following the latest travel updates, so they can trust you. They can come visit you without worry. So people are still traveling. Everyone's still taking a vacation despite inflation, fuel costs, striking pilots, high costs of, airfare, pandemics, global unrest, all of us, being a little fearful for the future. That's not enough to discourage us at this point, because we're just so desperate to get out. A lot has changed since 2019, but the number of travelers who are back on the road is increasing, and it's expected to reach pre-pandemic levels really soon. We've all dealt with a lot. So battling COVID, losing our jobs, people having to move, even losing family and friends during the pandemic. So as travel industry providers, it's really vital for us to stay grounded as we continue to face some of these threats. And when we speak with guests, we need to be sensitive. If we can, we should help them focus on the positive, help them realize that this travel experience is going to keep improving over time. They may have really high expectations right now because they've been home for a long time. They're spending a lot of money. And, they've been building it up in their minds for a couple of years of, getting back out there. This is going to be so great. So we really need to be kind, be sensitive, be patient, understand that people have lost a lot. We've all experienced the pandemic differently. And the more that we can do that, the better our option is to get those people back again as we continue to hone our processes and make things smoother going forward in the future. We've kind of discussed a lot of this already. One of the big reasons, though, that people are getting back out there that I'd like to really highlight is just this extra dreaming time we've had to prepare for trips. So this is really a key way that as travel providers, we can boost our profits is by taking advantage of this dreamers phase. So I wanted to bring to your attention, the average traveler actually spends 53 days researching their vacation, which takes place over 76 online sessions and on 28 websites. They tend to narrow down their search as they go. So you want to be at the top of the search funnel on day one of 53. Really get them thinking about your business long before they actually book anything. That's a key way to boost your profits. So I'll just take you on a little journey here. I'll ask this question. When do you start getting excited about your next vacation? Is it when your plane takes off? Is it earlier when you start packing your suitcase? Or is it even before that when you first get started planning your trip? I think for most of us, we start getting excited for our time away as soon as we start thinking about it. We're looking at reviews, photos, videos, other content related to our destination, planning our trip piece by piece in our head, getting more and more excited. Here's an example of what might happen. Perhaps you start thinking about a trip and you call up your sister, you say, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to look at hotels for Maui. I think I'm going to plan a trip for October. And she says, oh, that's awesome. Katie from work just went there. She had a great time. She stayed at the Sheraton and the gardens were gorgeous. So you get off the phone, you Google the Sheraton, you look at pictures of the gardens. You notice a video on their site about a tour that you can take off the property. You watch that. You sign up for their email list so that you can learn about their special events. You go to bed. A week later, you have some more free time. So you sit down and you pull up the hotel's website. You read about their restaurants, check out some reviews. You think, oh my God, that tilapia sounds delicious. So you make a mental note to try that when you go. Maybe the next morning, you open Google again, you type in flights to Maui in May, and you start checking out your fare options. So you just start planning your trip in your head. And so when, if this sounds familiar to you, this is really how people usually plan vacations. It's not like a purposeful, I'm going to sit down at my computer today and plan the whole thing. I don't even necessarily know where I want to travel or which agency I'd like to work with when I start the process. But it's sort of more of an organic thing that evolves over time, which is why we get back to this idea of recommendations from friends and family and having that social media presence, and then also being able to be found on Google, really being so critical. So if you run a hotel, resort, agency, cruise line, or any other like travel and tourism adjacent business, you really need to be there before travelers plan, way before they're booking, because that's really how you're going to stay top of mind when they finally pull out that credit card. So painting a picture, that's how you do it. It's not enough to just show up for your specific service online. You really need to grab attention and curate that experience for your travelers, like surround them with the rich content that makes them feel like they're there already. And right now, just with everyone's desire to get out and explore the world, it's not too hard to get them to pull out their credit card. So that's what I have for you today. I know we've kind of talked about a lot, but when it comes to travel, we're really just scratching the surface right now. It's a really exciting time. And it's a great opportunity for us in the travel industry to take advantage if we can. We've, as an industry, it's been a rough few years. But now as people are starting to resume the sense of normalcy a little bit, it's really a great opportunity for us to get in front of them and hopefully be there when they're ready to book for fall or for next year. I would say, if hopefully we won't have a need for another revenge travel period in our lifetime, but I hope you've had the opportunity to take advantage of your PTO and enjoy some travel. If you haven't, a lot of our clients are like the best travel industry experts. Definitely reach out because we can hook you up with somebody who can help you plan your next trip. If you need any inspiration, we have a lot of blogs on our site just with travel ideas. So definitely feel free to check those out as well.